Welcome, welcome everyone. We are gonna have so much fun. Welcome, welcome everyone. We are gonna have so much fun. Welcome, welcome everybody. I'm your CDA instructor. I am Mrs. Lakeisha Namani, and I'm so excited to talk to you today about what to expect when you are building your CDA portfolio binder and when you are having your CDA verification visit. So when you get to this step, you have completed your CDA 120 clock hours, or you are in the process. You have reached out to the CDA Council to apply. You paid the $425 application, or you've gotten a scholarship, and you have now received a ready to schedule notice from the CDA that lets you know that you're ready for your next steps. So tonight we'll be talking about two of those steps, what you can do to prepare for success, and just some tidbits. So I've been teaching this class for a couple of years now, and I also have the pleasure of being a CDA PD specialist where I visit different CDA candidates as well. So I will give you some tips and tricks. So if you do not have your notebook out and your pen out to take notes, I highly suggest you're ready to take your notes. All right. I highly suggest that you're ready to take your notes. So we're going to start with the CDA verification visit. This is the observation. So they will come visit you for a total of 4 hours. It may be less than 4 hours, but I like to tell my students to wrap their brain around the fact that it's going to be 4 hours. All right. They're going to spend 1 hour reviewing your CDA portfolio binder. Okay. So you want to make sure that you have a quiet place at your center designated for them to be able to review your binder. So this is something that you're going to want to discuss with your director in advance so that you can have proper spacing for your specialist. So they're going to spend 1 hour reviewing your binder. They're going to spend 2 hours in your class observing you and seeing how amazing of a teacher you are. Okay. And then they're going to spend 1 hour recapping with you. So they're going to review with you everything that you did amazing and everything that they feel like you could benefit from learning more about. So again, for that review part, you're going to want to talk to your director in advance so that they can have staffing covered so that you're able to come out of the classroom during that last 1 hour of your observation. And this is the time where, like I said, they're going to go over the things that you did well, the things that they would like for you to grow on, and you will complete a reflective dialogue worksheet with your PD specialist throughout the process. Okay. So 4 hours, 1 hour review your portfolio, 2 hours in the classroom directly observing you. 1 hour is going to be of them reviewing everything. Okay. So 4 hours. So you want to prepare for that. All right. So you want to make sure that you prepare for that. You want to make sure that you have gathered all your materials. You want to make sure that you have practiced for that. And what do I mean by practice? Okay. So whatever you plan to do on the day of your observation, you need to do a run through already. What book are you planning to read? What lesson, what art, whatever it is that you plan to do that day, you need to make sure that you begin to run through it. You want to make sure that you're overly prepared. When this person comes in, your PD specialist, to observe you, they're not going to be talking to you. They're going to be in the back of your classroom. They're going to have their clipboard or their binder, whatever their preference, in your score sheet and their pen, and they're just going to be writing. Okay. It can be very nerve-wracking to have someone just scoring you, right? And so if you are prepared, you've prepared your classroom, you've prepared your students to let them know that a visitor is coming, and you've prepped all your materials in advance, it will make it less stressful for you. All right. So Also, possibly having someone go over your lesson, whatever lesson that you plan to do that day, show a friend. Show your director, show your assistant director, and allow them to, give you feedback on that lesson plan so that you can ensure that you are prepared for success. So when your PD specialist comes in, the first part, so they're going to be scoring you for your environment, which is your whole classroom. And so they might not say much because as long as your classroom is set up, and we'll talk about what I mean by set up, but long as your classroom is set up, then they're able to score that independently. So that's just your environment. Then they're also going to be scoring you on your interactions. So how do you interact with the students? That is what they're going to be looking for. All right. If you do not have a competency standard book, I highly recommend it. All right. Yellow is for my infant toddler teachers. Green is for my preschool teachers, and blue is for my family child care teachers. So I'll say that again. Yellow is for my infant toddler teachers. Green is for my preschool teachers, and blue is for my family child care teachers. So you want to make sure that you have your CDA competency standards book prior to your observation, all right? You want to have that. The scoring documents that you will need to give your PD specialist are located at the back of that book. They won't have that already. They're expecting you to give that to them, and that's located in the back of your book, okay? So let's go over what are they looking for? What can you make sure that you're doing in that classroom? What can you make sure that you're saying in that classroom so that you can begin to practice this? And now I know a lot of the things that I'm going to discuss, I'm sure you are doing already, but you want to, of course, you want to do well on this evaluation. So I want to give you tips. So what type of score can you get? You can get a 1, 2, or 3. 3 is the highest, 1 is the lowest, and of course, your goal is to aim for 3s, all right? There is not a specific formula when it comes to what score you get on your verification visit. This is like a frequently asked question that I get. So I just wanted to clear the air with that. There is no, I can't tell you like, oh, you have to have 90% twos. I can't give you a formula because there isn't one. They're going to take a combination of your CDA exam score and a combination of how you performed for your CDA observation, and they're going to mix it together, and they're going to make a determination on whether or not they feel that you are ready to receive an approval for your CDA credential, all right? But even though there is no formula specifically for the observation, the goal is for you to get 3s. The goal is for you to get 3s and maybe a few 2s, but your goal is a 3. So I'm going to be teaching you today about how to get 3s. That's what I'm going to be working on. A lot of these things you do, but you're going to have to do it extra and over the top because they're looking to see how frequently you do this, okay? They're going to be looking at everything, your diaper changes, your potty, your outdoor time, your feeding time, your teaching time, your free play time. They are looking at absolutely everything. So let's start off with functional area 1 safe. Functional area 1 safe. What are they looking for when it comes to functional area safe? They're looking to see that your environment looks safe. Your materials and your equipment look safe. So they're looking to see, are they in good repair? Do they look like they're broken? They're looking to see, do you have any safety tripping hazards in your classroom? Are you blocking any important exits? They're looking to see overall, is the environment safe? All right. They're also looking for your emergency procedure. So you need to make sure that in your classroom, you have your emergency plan posted. This emergency plan says what to do in case of emergency. In case of a fire, what door do you go out of? What route do you take? In case of severe weather, what do you do? These are emergency plans that you probably do have at your center, but you need to make sure they are posted in your room, preferably by your exit door. So if you have a back exit door, you will post your emergency floor plans and emergency plans there. You also need to make sure that you have a complete first aid kit. If you don't have one in your center, you need to be able to say exactly where it's at. I know for a lot of centers, there's only one in the whole center, and that may be in the front office or that may be in the lounge, wherever it may be. That's fine, but just make sure that you can explain that. Your PD specialist might want to know exactly where is it, what do you do in case of emergency if you need to access it. So you need to know the answer to that if it's not located in your room. If it's located in your room, you need to have it clearly labeled as first aid kit. So if it is in a drawer, if it's in a cabinet, if it's in a pantry, you're going to want to label that first aid kit. All right. You're going to want to make sure that that's there. So that is for your setting. So that's your environment that they're looking for. Now let's go to what are they expecting you to do as a teacher? They're looking to make sure that the children are always supervised. Okay, so this means that there should never be a time where your eyes are not on a student. You should be able to see all your students at all times. In any moment that you see the students veering off, anytime that you see them veering off, you want to kind of get their attention. All right, you want to make them come back to whatever the area is, because they're going to be looking, whether you're inside, outside, whether you're doing restroom time, especially I want to say doing my infant toddler teachers, during your diaper changing time. If you are the only teacher in that room, you still need to figure out a way to supervise and keep your eyes on the other students while you are diaper changing. Okay, so if that means that you have the students reading a book in the reading center, they're playing blocks, whatever you're able to do, you want to make sure that they are supervised. In the perfect world, if you have two teachers in your room, or you're able to request a second teacher to be in your room on that day, that would be ideal. But I know for certain centers that that's not possible. So I want to make sure that I give strategies to my teachers who are independent and are in the classrooms by themselves. Okay. I want to make sure that I mention that. You also want to make sure that you're teaching children appropriate safety practices. So if you see children running, or if you see children climbing, you want to make sure you verbally say, remember, we don't climb on the objects. Remember, walking feet. Like, they want to verbally hear you redirecting them and teaching them what's safe to do and what's not safe. And I know a lot of times as teachers, we might just go over there. If we see them climbing on something, we may just go get them and just put them down. But no, they're looking for that interaction. You're talking, you're modeling that. All right. Not only do they want to see you providing supervision, but it's the attentive supervision. So when you're outside playing, you need to make sure, of course, you're not sitting, you're not standing in one place, you're constantly scanning that playground, you're constantly walking around the playground. If your students are doing free play time, you want to constantly be walking around the room to make sure you see everything. You want to make sure during nap time, you're able to see everybody. When it comes to the food, you want to make sure that no choking hazards are present. So depending on whatever foods you guys are eating that day, especially in the infant toddler room, you want to make sure that you are breaking that up. If it doesn't already come from the kitchen, already, chopped down into smaller pieces, you want to make sure that you do that, because they're going to be looking to see that you're not presenting any choking hazards to the students. All right, so make sure you're taking notes. That's functional area 1. That's functional area 1. It's all about being safe. So they're looking to see how you are being safe in your environment. All right. Let's go to functional area 2. Functional area 2 is healthy, all right? So it's the same thing as far as the material, equipment, and environment. They're looking to see that it's clean. So make sure you sweep. Make sure also, one of the things that I want to mention, you know how in your classroom you may have things posted on your wall. You may have border up and things like that. Make sure you check to see like no bug has gotten caught back there. Make sure that you pull the cribs away from the wall and sweep, because they're going to notice everything. You're in that classroom every single day. So it's kind of like when you're close to something, you don't see everything because you're close to it. Well, when you have a new, fresh pair of eyes, they're able to see everything. So make sure everything is clean. So if you know you plan for your PD specialist to come at 8, then you might that day you might decide to come in earlier, just to clean your room, just to give your room just another clean, a wipe down, the tables, the shelves, the counter, the toys, the materials, because they're going to be grading to see if it's clean, because that's part of creating a healthy environment for your students. They're going to want to know where your cleaning supplies are. So make sure if they are in a cabinet or a pantry, make sure that you're able to point where they are. If it's labeled, that would be great. But if not, they can just ask you where it is. And you want to, of course, make sure that your cleaning supplies are out of the way. All right, they're not at eye level, where the students can grab it. They're going to be looking at you clean. So not only are they looking to see that you're storing it properly, they want to make sure that you are cleaning. So make sure that you look over your state guidelines when it comes to how you're supposed to clean and sanitize. All right. In the toddler classroom, in the infant classroom, you guys should be having like a sanitizing bin, because kids are putting things in their mouth. So if you do have that sanitizing bin, you want to make sure it's kind of like out in the open, so that they can see it. All right. This is something that you want to make sure that they can see. And so again, remember I said at the beginning, you want to be extra and over the top. So you want to say a lot of things that you probably normally wouldn't say on another day, because you just know what you're doing. But if you take a toy from Johnny because he has it in his mouth, then I would say, "Oh, Johnny, I'm gonna take this from you and I'm going to put this in the bucket. And when it's clean, then I'll be able to put it out for your friends." Like I'm gonna verbally say that out of my mouth. All right. So they can write those lovely little notes down on their paper. All right. They're going to be looking to see, do you provide health resources to your families? So your center hopefully has a family resource area. This is where parents can get information about the flu, about preventing COVID, about breastfeeding, about nutrition, whatever they may have. You should have this area in your center. But if your center does not have this health resource area, then you might want to create a mini health resource area in your room, because they're going to be looking to see that you have health information available that you provide to your parents. Okay. So, and if you say, well, you know what, where do I get that from, Miss Lakeisha? You can go to the cdc.gov and they have amazing articles. Okay. You can just go ahead and just print some articles out. All right. They have a lot on there. Whatever you're looking for specifically, type it in and they're able to, they have that available. So you want to have that readily available for your PD specialist, because they're going to be looking. Okay. When it comes to what are they expecting you to do as a teacher, when it comes to health, of course, they want to see you clean and sanitize. We talked about that. They want to see you doing correct hand washing procedures. So let's talk about hand washing. All right. There's multiple times throughout the day where you should be washing your hands. Meal times, that's before and after meal times, you should be washing your hands. After you guys come in from outside, when you first arrive at your center, anytime you touch bodily fluids, anytime you touch a child, when they are participating in art or sensory play or after free play time, anytime, multiple times throughout the day, you should be washing your hands. They're going to be looking to see that you're washing your hands. Over wash your hands, okay? It's a good thing. You're keeping germs down, okay? Wash your hands. Not only are they looking to see that you wash your hands, they're looking to see that you're following the proper hand washing procedures. So by your hand washing sinks, do you have a visual chart there that says the correct steps to wash your hands? If you don't, again, you can go to the cdc.gov and they have a hand washing chart right there. They're going to be looking to see you wash your hands at least for 20 seconds. They're going to be looking to see that you're doing all of these things, all right? Also, they're going to be looking to see your diapering procedure. So if you don't have a diapering poster chart available in your center, then again, you can go to the cdc.gov. They have a diaper changing chart available. All right. They're going to be looking to see that you are not cross-contaminating. You're not spreading germs as you are changing that child. They want to make sure that they see you assisting children with washing their hands or encouraging them. So for my infants, even my infant teachers, make sure that you are washing those infants' hands after you diaper change. For the toddlers, you may have to assist them to the sink to wash their hands if they're not able to reach it. And for my preschoolers, you want to assist them, or if they don't need assistance, then you want to verbally say out your mouth, we're washing our hands. Really, for all of them. Once you finish diaper changing, or once they finish potty training or using the restroom, you're going to say, Miss Lakeisha, don't forget to go wash your hands, and make sure you sing our song. Wash your hands, wash the germs away. Wash your hands, wash the germs away. Like you want to have something. If you don't have a wash your hands song right now, then of course, this is something that you want to work on and begin to train yourself on the wash your hands songs and procedures. And then also, of course, you want to begin to train your students so that they are aware of what the expectation is. All right. And then, of course, continue to model and communicate and provide activities for children and families that support hand washing. That's going to go with your health resource. So that wraps up functional area 2. That wraps up functional area 2. All right. So healthy. All right. Functional area 3. Functional area 3 is all about learning environments. So this is your classroom. It's all about your classroom. So when it comes to the actual environment, they're looking to see that the environment looks welcoming. All right. They want to see that it is arranged intentionally. All right. And so when we talk about it being arranged intentionally, then we're talking about learning centers. All right. Because it needs to meet the developmental needs of the students in your room. So for the infants, of course, you're going to have that open floor space for them to be able to do tummy time and for them to crawl around. But you also want to have, you have your reading books. You can have your music instruments. You can have in that infant room a lot of those fine motor toys where they're pushing down on an object. You can have blocks. All right, so these are different things that you may have in a bin that are your quote centers for the infants. And then, of course, with the toddlers and the preschoolers, we are expecting to see the actual learning centers. The goal is for you to have at least 5 learning centers in your classroom. That is the goal. So reading center, then you have the kitchen center, block center, science, math, literacy, writing, fine motor, whether that's Play-Doh center, puzzle center, okay, music center, science, you want to look at the materials that you have in your room and see how you can divide it up appropriately to create learning centers. All right. So for the toddlers and the preschoolers, that's what they're looking for. They're looking to see that the materials that you are providing them are appropriate. They want to see that the materials that you are providing them are appropriate for their age. Okay, so the books are appropriate. The books aren't too advanced or too long. They're looking to make sure that the toys are not too small in those infant toddler rooms, or they're looking to make sure you don't have infant toys in the preschool room and preschool toys in the infant room, vice versa. They're also going to be looking to see about how much material you have. So they're also counting, okay? Because you should have a sufficient number of materials, okay? So if you have 20 students in a classroom, then what I'm expecting your materials to look like for a 20 kid classroom and a 10 kid classroom is different. Why? Because you have more students in that larger classroom. So you need to look around your room and make sure, like, kids break things all the time. So, and I know a lot of times when kids break things in our class, we're throwing it away. Make sure that if you are throwing away different things, because you're making sure that everything that is available is good and clean and of good repair, then you also want to make sure that you replenish it. So we don't want to just see 5 books, but you have a class of 20. No, we don't want to just see, 2 things in the kitchen center. You should have multiple things in your centers so that the children can explore it. And it needs to be organized and available at eye level. All right. So it needs to be available. So for the infant classroom, we know for art, we don't have that just out for them, but you still could label a closet art and make sure that you have art materials in there, because that's a section they're gonna want to look for. So I wanted to make sure that I say that. So you want to have those things at eye level. So even, for my toddler teachers who are always nervous when it comes time to have art materials out, think of what you can have out. Construction paper, regular paper, washable crayons, paintbrushes. These may be things that you have out that if the kids get into it, it's not going to be a disaster. You also can look at containers with lids on it, especially in the toddler room, because we do want them to explore the material, but we do want them to be safe as well. So making sure that it is available. They're going to be looking at your schedule. All right. So make sure that your schedule is posted. Not only do I want you to make sure that your schedule is posted, I want to make sure that you're doing that. I cannot tell you how many times I have observed in a classroom and they have this schedule posted and the teacher is doing nothing that's on that schedule. Okay. So make sure you go update your schedule. If you know that you have this old schedule up, but that's not the schedule that you and your kids do on a daily basis, it's time for you to go edit that schedule. Because for me, when I walk into a classroom, I like to go to their schedule to see like what my day is going to look like. So if I were you, one of the things that I enjoy as a PD specialist is when my teachers go ahead and print me a copy of a schedule. So when they give me their portfolio, they also give me a copy of their schedule. Why? That way I don't have to look for it. I don't have to keep getting up and going to their wall to see what's next. I already know that they're getting ready to go outside next, or they're getting ready to have circle time next. All right, but they're going to be looking at your schedule. Your schedule needs to have a mixture of whole group, small group time, free play time, outdoor time, meals, nap time. All right. You can throw some music and movement in there, but you want to make sure your schedule talks about those different moments. Restroom breaks, diaper changing, potty training time. All right. Also, your lesson plan. So whatever you're planning to do for that day, you need to, again, make sure that it's posted in your room. so that your PD specialist can find it. And again, going the extra mile. You can also copy, you don't have to copy the whole week worth of lesson plan, but whatever they're going to see for that day, you can make a copy of that daily lesson plan. So it's easier for them to be able to access the information. All right. It'll make it easier for them to be able to access that information. All right. They're also going to be looking for they're also going to be looking for nap time. So where do children go when it's nap time? All right. Where do the children go when it's nap time? And where do they keep their materials and how you space them out? So just make sure that you have all of that information readily available to answer. Okay, make sure that you have that information readily available to answer. Okay. All right. So that has to do with the actual setting. So let's see, what does it say about your actual interaction? So, oh, I did forget something on functional area 2. So I do want you guys to make a note of that. I did forget that. They're going to be looking at your meal times. So under the healthy section, they're going to be looking at your meal times. So making sure that you are providing, of course, healthy meals. I know for some of you, for some of your centers, the students are bringing in their meals, and that's perfectly fine as well. But make sure that you are serving those nutritious meals and snacks. So they're going to be looking for your menu. So having your menu posted in your room for them to be able to see what's on the menu. And they're also going to be looking to make sure that you are facilitating appropriate mealtime experiences. So that means not rushing the students, letting them talk. Feeding time is a social time. So you're sitting at the table, talking with them, communicating with them. If they need to open any materials, you're helping them open it. If they need anything broken up, you're breaking it up. Like they're just looking to see that you are having this great experience. If a child does not want to eat something, you encourage them, but you don't force them to do it. This is everything that they are looking for. All right. Also, during for my infant teachers, while you are feeding the babies, making sure that you are talking to them and singing to them. That is part of that mealtime experience as well. So I do want to say that. Okay, so jumping back to functional area 3, learning environment. Hold on one second. All right. So they're going to be looking to see, is your disposition welcoming and warm? So they're going to be looking to see, are you smiling? And it's not all about what you say, it's your body language too. So they're looking to see what you're saying, how you're saying it. All right. They want to know, are you trying to build a relationship with each one of the students? So that's calling them by their name, that's hugging them, that's spending one-on-one time with them. They're looking to see that you are following the schedule that's posted, but you're also being flexible when you need to be flexible, right? Because there are some times where, just by how the mood is going, the students may need just a little extra time on something that you're working on. So they're looking to see that you understand that children may need flexibility and you're able to provide them that flexibility, all right? All right. They also want to see how you are transitioning the children. So there should never be a time where children are doing nothing. They should always be engaged at all times. So if you have some students washing their hands and some students are sitting at the table because they've already washed their hands, you should be singing nursery rhymes, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. You need to be singing and engaging them. Or you may be talking to them. What you do this weekend? What you like to eat? When it's time for you to transition them to line up to go outside or to come inside, you want to create a transition song. Let's go outside, let's go outside, let's go outside, it is outside time. You know, and I just came up with that off the top of my head, but you want to create some type of transition songs and chants so you can alert your students on what's happening. And of course, that's something that they're checking. And if you want that 3, like I know you guys want that 3 in that section, then you do want to go the extra mile when it comes to creating that learning environment. All right. Functional area 4, physical. Functional area 4, physical. All right, so they're looking to see that you have materials available indoor and outdoor that promote gross motor skills. Okay, so this might be your climbing materials that you may have outside. You may have open space outside for them to be able to do the different gross motor activities. All right, they're looking to see that you are encouraging that. So while they are outside participating in that gross motor activity, are you right along with them running and hopping and jumping? They're looking for that interaction. All right. When it comes to fine motor, they want to see that you have different materials in your room. Okay, so go back. Gross motor for infants, because I don't want to forget my infant teachers. Your push toys, like when they're learning to walk, their push toys and the toys they use to pull up on, that's their gross motor. So that's what you want to make sure that you have in your room. Also, when it comes to fine motor, this is your puzzles, this is your Play-Doh, your writing material, your stacking blocks. You want to make sure that you have fine motor activities available inside your room, because they will be looking for that. And they want to see that you encourage the students to develop their senses. So that's sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch experiences. So during mealtime, talk to them about what they're eating. What color is it? How does it taste? How does it feel? How does it look? How does it smell? Talk to them about these different things during mealtime. If you are doing an art lesson and they are finger painting, talk to them about the paint that's on their fingers, all right? But you want to bring in those senses as well. Another trick that I always tell my students as well is to, let's say prior to your visit, you do a 5 senses collage activity, like art, and then you can post it in your room. So even though they didn't physically watch you do a 5 senses activity, they see the artwork. So that's part of your 5 senses experience as well. All right. So functional area 4 is pretty cut and dry when it comes to physical. So they're just looking to see what are you doing to promote their physical development. All right. Also, you want to make sure that on your schedule, it has opportunity for them to go outside. So that needs to be on your schedule as well. They're going to be looking for that. Let's go to functional area 5, cognitive. Functional area 5, cognitive. All right. And this will be a multiple of things for cognitive. So be ready to take some notes on this section. There are multiple areas. So they're looking to see that the type of activities that you provide are developmentally appropriate. So what you're doing needs to be appropriate for the age you serve. Again, this goes back to the material tip that I listed earlier. You want to make sure that you are not doing an infant type activity in the preschool room, and you're not doing a preschool type activity in the infant room. So it needs to be appropriate to the age of the students in your room. All right, they're looking to see that the materials and the equipment that you provide allows them the opportunity to experience cognitive development. So this will be your different learning materials that you have in your room. They want to see that the materials that you chose are meaningful. So you didn't just randomly decide to choose these different materials. You actually put some thought into it. You actually looked around your room or your center or your school. You looked it up. You picked materials based on, I know that my students like Sesame Street, so that's why we have Sesame Street book, and that's why we have Sesame Street doll in our kitchen center, because that is specifically what my students like. All right, and so that's what you're offering. They're going to be looking to see, are you giving the children an opportunity to problem solve, or are you trying to solve everything and do everything on your own? They're going to be looking to see if you are helping them problem solve. So if a child is crying because they want a toy or they want something, instead of you just giving it to them, or instead of you just answering or solving whatever the problem is, encourage them to do that. Okay, so for example, if a child is building in the block center and they're building a tower, and every time they get to the 12th block, the tower keeps falling down. They're going to cry. They're going to be sad about that. You can begin to talk to them and ask them, okay, well, what can you do instead? And when you build your tower at block number 12, it falls. What else could you do? And try to get them to say, okay, well, maybe if I don't build the tower so tall, maybe it won't fall. All right, so you want to kind of get them to begin to use those words and problem solve. If there is a behavior challenge in the classroom, as far as maybe another child took something from them, of course, naturally, they're going to come to you as the teacher to try to solve that problem. You're going to walk over there with them. And if Johnny took the toy from Tyson, then I am going to have Tyson walk over there. I'm gonna say, Tyson, tell Johnny how you feel about that. And I'm gonna facilitate that conversation for them to be able to communicate, all right, and to problem solve. All right, they're going to be looking to see that you connect to children's prior experiences. So they maybe before you do your lesson, you may talk about something else that you previously talked about that tied in. So let's say if this whole week the theme was winter, all right? So we may be talking about, I don't know, the clothes. No, the places you can go in the winter, the activities you can do in the winter. But before I start talking about that, I may start my lesson off and say, okay, remember, friends, let's talk about what clothes do we wear in winter? Let's review what clothes do we wear in the winter. Okay, so now that we reviewed what clothes we wear in the winter, okay, now let's talk about the things we can do in the winter. So you want to draw that into previous experiences. Also for my infants and my toddlers, when you are reading books to them, if it's a book that you've read to them already, of course you want to verbally say, oh, Billy, I know that this is your favorite book because when I read this book last time, you smiled, okay? So this is my way of putting it out in the atmosphere that I have done this before, because they are looking to see that you are repeating certain things. They are looking to see that you are repeating certain things, all right? So that has to do with cognitive development. That has to do everything with building their brain and allowing them to grow. Okay, that has everything to do with that. All right. Functional area 6, communication. Functional area 6, communication. All right. So they're looking to see that you have a reading center. Make sure you have a reading center. Okay. Make sure that it's accessible to the children, even in the baby room. The baby should have a little baby reading center with soft books that they can access. In the toddler and the preschool room, you want to make sure that you have books at eye level as well. They're going to be looking for that. And again, they're going to be looking, here goes that word again, developmentally appropriate. They're going to be looking to see not only do you have books, but those books are appropriate, all right? And so you want to go through your books to just see, do the books you have fit the age in which you serve, all right? So you want to take like a little classroom assessment of that. They're going to be looking to see, are children read to every day? This can be answered on your schedule. So again, that schedule should have an opportunity for storytelling time, all right? So even if they don't witness you doing story time, if they see this schedule, they know that you follow this schedule every day, and the schedule says at 1:50 we do a story time, all right? They're also going to be looking to see in those older classrooms, that preschool group, that you're giving them the opportunity to make their own books. So they're looking for like writing materials. So that may be paper, that may be pencil, giving them the opportunity to create their own books is what they're going to be looking for. They want to see that you're giving children plenty of opportunities throughout the day to talk and to communicate. So remember, during mealtime, it's just not silent time. They should be able to talk. During circle time, if you're doing a circle time lesson, if you're doing a small group lesson, you want to engage them as much as possible so that they can talk too. All right. You want to engage them as much as possible so that they can talk too. If you have dual language learners in your classroom, then you want to make sure that you also are providing different activities for them. So this might be in the form of visual. So you may have, if you have a Spanish speaker, Spanish speaking child in your classroom, you may have information posted in another language in your classroom, like for like common areas and common words. They want to, if they do witness your story time, which I highly encourage all of my students to do a story time, whether it's a circle time experience, or if you go during free play time and then you just go stop by the reading center and you read a book. I encourage that, because you can get a lot of different points with reading a book, because reading a book is engaging them. It's also language and communication. You can also get them to talk back at you. They're also looking to see that you are engaging when you're reading, so you're not boring. All right, so you use a different animation, you get in the kids involved so it can be very interactive. They want to know that when children talk to you, that you're listening and you're actively engaging in that conversation. You're talking back at them. Don't have them say, Miss Lakeisha, Miss Lakeisha, Miss Lakeisha, and you ignoring them. Okay, even if you're doing something, you need to acknowledge them, even if you're doing something. So baby room teachers, okay, even if you're changing Ashley and Jeremy is crying, you want to make sure while you're changing Ashley, you're singing and talking to Ashley during the diaper changing procedure. But if Jeremy is crying, I'm also going to say, Jeremy, I'm coming to you. As soon as I finish changing Ashley, I'm coming. So the babies are crying. That's their way of talking to you. The toddlers and the preschoolers, they're going to try to call your name, or they may be crying. They're looking to see how do you respond to that. You need to make sure that you're acknowledging each interaction that a child is trying to have with you to get your attention. All right, you need to make sure. Okay. They also want to see that you are encouraging the children to talk and communicate, as far as, let's say, if a child is pointing to their cup and they want their cup, then you're going to say, oh, you want your cup? Oh, Miss Lakeisha will give you your cup. Can you say cup? This is me talking and helping assist them with using their words. I want to make sure that I'm assisting them with using their words. Okay. They also want to see, when it comes to vocabulary, they want to see, are you encouraging new vocabulary? So you can post your words of the week in your classroom on a wall. And you also want to verbally say it. So let's say if you guys are working on the word, I don't know, apple. Let's say we are in the toddler room, you're working on apple. Then I will have a picture and the word apple posted on the word wall. And then while they are in the kitchen center playing, and I see them playing with the apple, I'm gonna say, ooh, we learned the word apple this week. Look at you playing with the apple. I'm going over, remember we talked about being extra and over the top. So I'm gonna make sure that I verbally say that, okay? And that goes vice versa for whatever classroom that you are working in. You want to make sure that you are encouraging them to speak and you are speaking to them. Your mouth should be tired as an early childhood educator, because that's how much you should be talking. So making sure that you are communicating, over communicating. Again, anytime a baby's crying, anytime a child is trying to get your attention, you're talking to them. This also goes with that drop off in the morning time, the drop off time where, you know, they may be sad because they miss their parents, they miss their family. You want to make sure that you're validating their feelings. So I'm going to say things like, I understand. I understand that you're sad. You're sad because mommy left. I can get how that could be sad. I can get how that can make you sad. Okay. Can you give me a hug? Would you like a hug? You know, these are the things that I'm talking and saying, you know, mommy will be back. Daddy will be back. But making sure that I am comforting them with my words. Okay. Making sure that I am comforting them with my words. All right. And that was functional area 6, communication. That was communication that we just did. All right. All right. And then once I finish all of the functional areas, we will take a break because I know it's a lot of information. Um, but I want to give you guys all the goods. I want to give you all the notes so that you are successful. So I want to make sure that I am thorough. Functional area 7 is creative. Functional area 7 is creative. All right. So we talked about the art materials already, but I will discuss it again. Making sure that you have art materials and activities available for children daily. So this will show in your schedule again. So your schedule should reflect your art time. This is a way for them to be able to see it. And you also want to have an art center. So we said in the infant room, you may have this in a closet and you have it labeled art center. But for my toddlers and for my preschoolers, it should be at eye level for the toddlers and preschoolers to assess. Okay. Of course, we're going to be smart with it in those toddler classroom. We're going to be mindful of what we put in the children's art center, but we want to make sure nonetheless that we have an art center available for them. This can be like an actual like shelf, or you can get like those clear drawers from like those storage containers, Sterilite, I think, and then you can like label each drawer, and then you can put materials there as well. All right, they're looking to see that music and movement materials are available for children daily. All right, so this may be something that they're able to see in your actual schedule. This is something they're able to see in your schedule. And then also play music. When they came during free play time and it was time for free play, I put on music. So I had music going in the classroom. All right. And so that allowed me to get those points. It would allow my students to be able to get those points when it comes to the music and movement. Um, dramatic play material should be available for all children. So making sure that for the toddlers and the preschoolers, you're probably going to have a dramatic play center where you will have the kitchen set, the sink. Some of you guys may have like a play wash and dryer, dress up closet, dress up toys, materials. These are the things they're going to be looking for. Even for my infant teachers, you can put baby dolls in bins. That's dramatic play. You can get some play food and put that in a bin. All right. You know, you kind of want to you may get some play hats for them to put on their head. So even though you are in the infant classroom, you are not exempt from providing these different experiences that they are going to be looking at. They're also going to look to see that you are encouraging self-expression. So this has a lot to do with allowing the children to guide the art experience and not you. So we love our cutesy Pinterest type art, the cute handprint and the craft and all of that, but that is a product-based art, all right? As an early childhood educator, you want to do more process art, okay? What is process art? It's messy, okay? Process art is that type of art that you don't know what it is. You got to ask the child what it is to not offend them. that is process art, because you don't know what it is. It was because you're not in their brain, it's their experience. You should be able to put all your students' artwork on the wall, and they should be able to tell you which one is theirs. Okay. When you allow them to be creative and create their own art experience, they're gonna know which one is theirs, because they know that they turned their cow red and pink. Okay. So what do I mean by product art? Anything that has a template. So if you go print out a tree and then they are supposed to glue something on the tree, that is a product art. Okay. So process, which is what we're leaning towards, they do not have a template, so you're not printing anything off for them to glue specifically on, and you don't give them a sample, like we like to do as teachers. We like to make it all cutesy for us, because we want that pig to look like how we want that pig to look. And I'm not saying that you guys can't do your product art. I was a teacher for almost 10 years. So I definitely understand the love of it. But we do want to allow them to guide the experience. So if they are going to be observing you doing art that day, you need to make sure that it's open-ended. So this is your collage type materials. This is where if you want the child to make a pig, you may give them white construction paper, pink pom-pom balls, pink tissue paper, pink paint, pink crayons, and then let them just make their heart desire. I'm not giving them a template of a pig. I'm giving them multiple materials for them to make what they desire, all right? So this also needs to be posted in your classroom. So you know how you have your art? Your art should be at eye level in your room so that the children can see. So have it at art level, but then you also can have it, up high as well. But you want to make sure that what you have posted in your room is process art as well. All right. You want to make sure that it is process art as well that's posted. All right. And this will help you thrive in your creative section. All right, let's go to functional area 8. And functional area 8 and 9 are actually like real short. Functional area 8 has to do with self, so how you are promoting their self-esteem. So they're going to be looking to see that the materials that you're providing them allows them to be successful. So you're not picking material that may be too hard for them, because you want them to be successful with completing it. They're looking to see that you respect the individuality of each of your students. So understanding that all your children are different and all your children may need different things from you. And they're looking to see how do you respond appropriately to each of your students' needs, okay? The students that like to be right by you and hold your hand, the students that don't want to be touched, the students who want to talk to you and tell you about every single thing. We have different students in our classroom with different personalities, okay? And so they are looking to see how are you responding and addressing their needs. We already talked about this, showing sensitivity to each child's feelings and needs. So when they're hurt, validating their feelings. So when you validate a child's feeling, you start with I understand. I understand that you're mad. So even if a child is throwing a tantrum because they don't want to clean up from playtime, I understand that you're mad because it's time to clean up. I get it. Sometimes Mrs. Namani doesn't like to clean up and stop what she's doing. I get it. So they're looking to see that you're talking them through those feelings and not just saying, oh, you're fine. The child's just crying, oh, you're fine. Or in the baby room, the baby is just screaming, nothing's wrong with you. I've changed you. I've fed you. You know how, we do. You want to make sure that even for the babies, you're being sensitive to their needs. When babies cry, something is wrong, okay? Always. I don't care what nobody says, something is wrong. Even if what's wrong is that they want you to look at them and only them. Guess what? In their world is falling apart because you're not staring at them, okay? That is a real feeling that that baby is having on the inside, and you want to validate that. So you want to show sensitivity to that. Self-help, so encouraging them to do things independently if they can. So in the baby room, helping them hold their own bottle if they're able to. For our younger infants, they may be feeding with their hands. They're self-feeding with their hands, so they're looking for that. For the toddlers and the preschoolers, they should now be using utensils. They should now be using regular cups and not sippy cups. So they're looking to see how are you encouraging them. If a child is trying to pick something up with a spoon and it keeps falling, what are you saying to them to encourage them that it's okay? They're looking when you are diaper changing and potty training them, they're looking to see that it's a positive experience. So again, during diaper changing time, you're talking to them, you're singing with them, you playing, okay? If you don't have nothing to talk about, create nursery rhymes. Near my diaper changing station at my preschool, because I did forget to mention that at earlier. For those who don't know me, I am a preschool owner, and I'm also an early childhood trainer. And so for my preschool, next to all of our diaper changing tables, we have cognitive activities. So this is like a list of like nursery rhymes. This is a list of type of questions that they can ask the baby, because the baby's not going to talk back to you, but they'll coo back to you and they'll smile and they'll kick their legs. So it'll be things like talk to them about what they ate for lunch, talk to them about their clothes. Like, so if you need a cheat sheet, then by your diaper changing station, you may have like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, Old MacDonald Had a Farm. So when you have nothing else to say, your brain can't think of nothing else to talk about, just sing songs. But they're looking to make sure that you're making that a positive experience. So if a child had an accident on themselves, you're not making a big scene about it. You're giving them the privacy. If a child had a bowel movement and you have to change that diaper, you're being appropriate with them. You're not saying things like, woo, that smells. Like you're saying, you're talking to them like a tiny adult, because that's what they are. And just encouraging them to be independent. So you may have things like a stool in your toddler classroom or your preschool classroom so that they can reach the sink themselves. They may assist you with setting the table for your older students. And so they are able to really just show their independence. All right. And all right, so that's functional area 8. Now let's go to functional area 9. Functional area 9 has to deal with social. Functional area 9 has to deal with social. All right, so they're looking to see that you are promoting a non-biased environment. So you should be able to, in your materials that's in your classroom, you should reflect multiple cultural groups and ethnicities. So you can get some magazines and cut out different family structures out of a magazine and post them on different posters around your room. You can do it, or you can turn it into a art activity, and your students can do it, and you post it around the room. Ask the parents to bring in a family picture so that you can post a family picture inside the classrooms. You want to have different books that represent different diverse backgrounds. You want to have different like in your dramatic play center, you may have play food that represents multicultural background. You can go online and print out different takeout menus from an Italian restaurant, Mexican restaurant, soul food restaurant, Chinese restaurant, and print these different menus out. You can laminate them, or you can put them in a folder so that the students can experience the different multicultural foods. But you want to definitely make sure that you are showing a wide variety of family structures also ethnicities, and also disabilities. So you may have pictures up of students or people with glasses, in a wheelchair, in a walker. You want to begin to show that diversity. That is part of that social atmosphere. They're also looking to see that you encourage your students to play with each other. So this has a lot to do with that schedule as well, making sure that that schedule allows for free play time. And during mealtime, they are encouraged to talk to friends and talk to you and be social. They're also looking to see that you model appropriate social behavior. You model an appropriate social behavior. So you may be teaching them how to share. If you see something, if you see friends not playing nicely together, you're talking to them about just the best way to play together. You're also allowing them to help them understand their feelings. So when a child is happy or they're sad, saying exactly what it is that they feel. So if they're happy or if they're sad, saying the word so that they understand it. Or let's say if they hit one of their friends and their friend is crying, talking to them about the fact that you see that Lakeisha is crying, she's sad. And because she's sad, she's crying, and she's crying because you threw that toy at her. So talking to them so they can understand not only their own feelings, but the feelings of others and how to treat their friends. So this is something that, of course, you will model. This is something you may have your class rules posted in your room. They're looking to see a combination of all of that when it comes to functional area 9. Also, they're looking to see that you are comfortable discussing diversity. So another tip to bring diversity into your room could also be with the music. So when it's time for them to clean up, maybe you put on different type of music. Maybe this time you put on African music, and then the next time you put on jazz music. And so you're showing them diversity with the music that you're playing in your classroom. Also with the props, so like the dress up clothes, you can get some of those as well. And they're going to look to see that you are comfortable just kind of talking about the different family structures. Everyone's family is different. Everyone culture is different. They want to look at that. So, just kind of be prepared to a lot of these things, especially when it comes to this, you want to set your environment up for success. So that's why I gave you the tips for the menu and the dramatic play. And I gave you the tips to bring the family photos in and the books and the props, because they won't, even though they're observing you for 2 hours, and it's going to seem like a long 2 hours, they can't see everything in that time. So you want to make sure your classroom speaks for you. So that's with the things that you have posted in your wall and the materials that you have in your centers, okay? You want to make sure that it's able to speak for you. All right, so functional area 10. Functional area 10 is all about behavior. Now, when I say this, all my teachers say, oh my goodness, but I have a student in my class. We all have them type of students in our class. So if it makes you feel any better, the observer that comes to observe you, they have experience with working with children, okay? So we understand that some children are just the exception. You could have amazing classroom management, and there's just one child that just says that he doesn't care about your classroom rules. She doesn't care about your classroom rules because those rules don't apply to you. We have some students that feel that way. So as an observer, when I come into a classroom, I'm able to see quickly what is the norm in that room. So that's what that observer is looking for. Okay, so is the majority of the students abiding by the rules? Is that teacher able to get majority of the students in alignment? That is what they are looking for, all right? So you want to make sure that when it comes to behavior guidance, they are looking to see that you acknowledge positive behavior. So instead of always focusing on negative behavior, if you have 11 students in your classroom and 9 of them are sitting correctly. Instead of spending all your energy, focus on the 2 that's not sitting correctly. All right. I am going to say, oh, I love the way Clarissa is sitting. I'm going to focus on that positive behavior because I want to see more of that positive behavior. Instead of saying things like don't run, I'm going to say use your walking feet because I am going to focus on the behavior that I want to see. All right. They also want to see that you provide firm and but yet consistent limit and expectation. So these are your classroom rules. Having them posted, but also reinforcing it to them. So before you send them to free play or before you guys go outside, you may say, okay, friends, so let's go over the rules before we play in centers. Like you want to give an opportunity for them to review the rules so it can stick as much as possible. All right. And then you want to make sure that you begin to teach them self-discipline and self-regulation. All right. So if a child is upset, maybe you have a cozy corner in your room where they can go to, not time out, but a cozy corner where it's calm. They can be alone with their feelings, their big feelings that they're having. You may teach them things like counting 1, 2, 3 to calm their nerves. And they're looking to see that when the children are displaying challenging behavior, how do you respond as a teacher in that room? Are you screaming at them? Are you flustered? Is your face red? Are you doing all the sign and just showing signs that you are frustrated? Or are you actively trying to calm them and actively trying to attend to their needs? All right. And when you do have to address negative behavior, because there does come a time where you do have to address the behavior that you see, they want to know, what do you do? Okay. Are you just flat out ignoring the behavior? Or are you trying to talk to that child to get them to follow the rules, follow the directions? They want to look to see if you're using timeout, how are you using timeout? Are you using it for them to reflect? Are you talking to the student about what they did before they went there, before they get out of timeout? Are you having them discuss with you what they did and how they're going to change the behavior? They want to know, like, what are your techniques? What are your strategies? All right. So you want to make sure that you have some strategies. When it comes to classroom management, you cannot teach a class that you can't manage. So you do want to make sure that you have management strategies going there. All right, you guys, almost done. Almost done. All right, almost done with the verification part. All right, so functional area 11. Functional area 11 is families. Functional area 11 is families. Okay. All right. So again, here it goes again. And so one of the things that you're going to notice is it may seem like I'm repeating, but the reason why it seems that I'm repeating is because a lot of the things fall in different sections. So, under the social, we just talked about not creating a biased environment. So under families, one of the things that it says is, does your room display and materials reflect various communities? So once you create your multicultural materials in your environment, in your room, that's going to help you in multiple categories because that falls in different sections. All right. So they want to see, again, that your room display represent different communities. They also want to see that you communicate to parents. So how do you communicate with them? Do you have a parent communication app like Brightwheel, like ProCare, like Kangaroo Time? All right, they want to see that. Do you have a newsletter? If you have a newsletter that you give parents, you want to have that posted. So maybe you have a parent information board where you post that that menu and the schedule and a newsletter. For my infant teachers and toddler teachers, you will be able to show things like your daily report where you are writing down their food, their naps, their diaper changes. This is a form of communication that they will be looking for. So you want to have that readily available. They want to know that you welcome and respect every family. So this has to do with you creating that cultural environment. This has to do with you maybe having some type of welcoming ritual. So if you have a new student in your classroom, do they fill out all about surveys so you can learn more information about them? Also, they want to know that you have open communication with families. So again, that's that communication again. So being able to prove how you are communicating with them. Also, if they're coming to visit you during the time where you are doing drop off or pickup, more than likely probably will be like drop off time in the morning time. You want to make sure that you are speaking to all of the parents. Good morning, Miss Lakeisha. How are you? How did little Johnny sleep last night? Having those different conversations. All right. Again, provide information. This goes with that resource area we was talking about earlier. They want to see that you're providing information to parents to help meet their child's developmental needs. So that's getting some cognitive development checklist. That may be something that you add to your resource area. Looking up health, social services. So if you know anybody in your area that's giving away free school supply, free food, free toys. This is something that you can have available in your resource area. And also, are you providing your families with materials that they can work with their child with at home? Like not actual like materials, but maybe you like homework. So you say, okay, well, I'm in the infant room. How can I provide homework? You can do things like, hey, these are all of the skills that we're working on this week. Your child is working on rolling over. This is what I use at school to get them to roll over. Can you extend this at home? Simple. All right. That's how you can give homework even in the infant classroom. All right. And so just making sure that they want to see that you are interacting with the families. You can show how you're communicating with them and you're encouraging communication, and that you are being a resource to them. All right. Functional area 12. Functional area 12 is program management. Functional area 12 is program management. All right. And so they're looking to see in this section, do you observe students? So this is like progress reports, informal observations, milestone checklists. They're looking to see how do you record and keep up with their behavior and academic progress. They're also looking to learn more about your curriculum, your developmental goals. So these are your objectives. They're looking to see also, do you adhere to childcare licensing? So they're looking to make sure that you're following your minimum standards. So making sure that you are updated on that. They're looking to make sure that you're aware of the abuse and neglect qualifications, like reporting qualifications requirements. I'm sorry, not qualifications. So this can be shown, let's say if you have a child abuse and neglect form in your room that's posted that has the contact number to the agency that you contact in case of you suspect abuse. You may have that number, that website posted. So this is something that you can use. And also it may have on there to notify, who do you notify? What is your policy at your center in the event that you suspect child abuse and neglect? And there also, it says things like maintain current records on children's health, safety, and behavior. So this can just be shown with, let's say if you do a daily health check, where you're checking to make sure that the children are well. We've done a lot of that more during the pandemic. So like if you have any proof of like your wellness check log, you can show that. And then they're going to be looking to see um, how you interact with your co-teacher. All right. So if you have a co-teacher in your room and that's not your best buddy, that's not your pal, okay, that's your observation day is not the day that your PD specialist want to know that you've asked to be removed out this classroom 10 times, okay. That's not the day that you want to display that. You want to, on that day, put on your best face and be ready to interact professionally with your co-teachers and your colleagues, all right? And then last, functional area 13, professionalism. Functional area 13, professionalism. All right? So for professionalism, it has making sure that you are being confidential. So if you have any specific documents located in your classroom, you want to make sure that they are locked away, they're stored away, they're not just out in the open, making sure that you're not just talking about children out in the open, making sure that you're conducting yourself in a professional manner. This is how you dress, this is how you speak, this is how you interact, okay? So they're looking to see that you are being a professional. Being a professional also has to do with being organized, all right? It also has to do with being organized. They're looking to see that you are an advocate for family and children. They're able to see this by your resources. So all of the resources that you are providing for your families, okay, they're able to see that you value the role you play as an early childhood educator. They also want to know about your commitment to learning, your commitment to education. So are you aware of the new child care laws that comes out? And this may be a question that they may just ask you, okay? But you also, if you have a copy of your minimum standards located in your classroom, then that is a way for them to see it. But this might be a question that they may actually ask. How often do you attend professional organizations? How often do you attend workshops and conferences and training courses? All right, so these are just the different things that they may be looking for when it comes to professionalism. So that sums up everything for your observation visit. So before we go on our break, our 10-minute break, let me kind of like give you guys some pointers. So just to kind of recap, you want to talk to your director. Okay, so rewind back. You decide when your observation is. It's not a pop-up, okay? So because it's not a pop-up, it's like an open book quiz. You should be able to ace it because you know exactly what they're looking for. I just recapped it, I told you. And then also, if you look in the back of your competency statement book, this is the score sheet that they're using. You don't have to guess. This is what they're using. So plan your best lesson for that day, okay? Make sure you begin to practice like they are observing you. See if your director or if a co-teacher will be willing to give you a mock classroom observation. Make sure that they do not write on the forms that are in your book. So if you want to make a copy, you're welcome to make a copy, but you need to have a fresh copy available for the real visit. But you may look at them potentially being able to do you a mock visit. This is someone in your center that can assist you and let you know what areas you need to work on so that you can work on them. And it also will make it easier so when you do get observed, you're not as nervous. You want to talk to your director about making sure that you guys have appropriate staffing for that day, because remember for the last hour of the observation, they will need to pull you to the side. So it's not something that they can multitask and do with you while you're covering nap time or talk to you while you are passing out foods. Okay. They need to be able, you need to have time aside. So communicating with your director in advance so that they can make the necessary adjustments to the schedule. All right. Think very wisely on the time that you want to give your PD specialist to come. So for my teachers, when they have their observation visit, they usually tell their PD specialist to come from 8 to 12, all right? Because they know that based on what they want the PD specialist to see, they want them to come at that time. Now, remember, I said at the beginning that they take an hour, they take up to an hour to review your portfolio. I can review a portfolio in 30 minutes top because I've done it so much. It don't take me an hour. I tell you that to say, don't have in your mind, okay, well, I told her to come from 8 to 12. So from 8 to 9, she's going to be in the lounge reviewing my portfolio. No, if she finished that portfolio at 8:30, she's going to be in your room and you need to be ready for her at 8:30 or ready for him at 8:30 if they come in your room. So just be ready. If you know that your observation time starts at 8 o'clock, don't be just getting there at 8 o'clock. Mm-mm. You need to be there at 7:30. Even if your director says that they won't, put you quote unquote officially on the schedule earlier, it's fine. This is your special important day. So if that means you have to get there 30 minutes early just to ensure that your nerves are calm and your classroom is ready, that's what you want to do. Okay. You want to make sure that whatever you have set up in your classroom, that it didn't fall and things didn't move. And you just want to have an opportunity because that will make your nerves real shattered if you're just walking in at the same time as your PD specialist walking in. All right. So you do want to make sure, again, like I said, that you prepare in advance. They're going to see everything. They're going to look at everything. All right. So make sure that you're ready. Begin to practice that. If you know right now, when you diaper change and you potty train, you don't sing, you don't talk, then starting tomorrow, you need to start singing and you need to start talking so that it's familiar to you, so that it comes second nature. And once you start doing it, you're going to start developing these good habits. All right. Okay. So we're getting ready to go on, and I'm not going to do a 10-minute. I'm going to do a 7-minute break. We're going to go on a 7-minute break. We started class late, so this class will end at about 8:30, and I still will stay on for a live Q&A for anybody who has any questions. But we are going to take a 7-minute break because I'm tired because I've been talking for an hour. I'm sure y'all tired of listening to me talk for an hour. So come back at 7:52. Thank you. Welcome back. So now is the time for me to go through the CDA portfolio. So you guys can see what all you have. So prior to this class, I sent out the link for you to be able to access the CDA portfolio workbook that I created. And I created it with you guys in mind. So like I said, I have been teaching the CDA class for some years now. And with the different students that I have taught, they've all had similar challenges when it came to putting together their CDA portfolio. So I wanted to create this workbook in this class to be able to kind of just give a recap of everything that's expected. All right. So first, to create your book, your portfolio, you're going to need dividers. You're going to need sheet protectors. All right. You're going to need address labels. You're going to need a black permanent marker. And you're going to need at least a 2-inch binder with the front cover sleeve so you can slide something in there, all right? So these are all the lovely materials that you will need to be successful. And then now I'm going to show you a quick little video of what the overall binder looks like with all of these materials, a quick 20-second video, and then I will explain each portfolio assignment. All right. So this is the simple overview of what the portfolio looks like. Let me make it large for you guys. Okay. So this is just a plain binder. You will have your cover sheet there that says your name and your credential. And I just wanted you to see, I have the sheet protectors in there. I have the different forms. And you see the address labels that are at the bottom. So you're going to use the checklist that's provided to include all of the lovely things. Thank you. All right, so like I said, short and simple. I wanted you guys to be able to see that's the binder, that's the sheet protector, that's the address label, which is at the bottom, all right? And you will have different forms that you have to put inside there. And you'll also have different work that you need to complete, all right? You will have different work that you need to complete, all right? So you will have different dividers, okay, that you need to put different information on. So one of your dividers is going to be called required, okay? So these are just some required documents that you need to have. All right, so for page 1 will be your CDA portfolio cover sheet. All right, and so you're going to write on your address label, port cover, all right? And you will need to look inside your competency standard book and find your CDA cover sheet. You will need to be able to find the CDA cover sheet. It is located, let me tell you, let me see, in my book. It is located in the back right before your scoring guide for the PD specialist. All right, and so it says at the top, my CDA professional portfolio, all right? And so it's in the book, okay? My CDA professional portfolio. You will need to take that paper out of the book and completely fill it out. When you completely fill out that CDA professional portfolio sheet that's located inside of your book, you are going to put it inside of sheet protector number 1. All right, you're going to put it inside of sheet protector number 1. All right. Page 2. And actually, let me see, I have it up. That's the workbook. Okay. All right. On sheet protector 2, it's going to be the summary. So you're going to have a page called the summary of my CDA education. This is located in your competency book as well. This is why I am an advocate of you purchasing this book. All right, so it says the summary of my CDA education. You're going to fill out your name at the top of the document. You're going to initial next to each, and you are going to sign, and you are going to date, okay? And actually, I'm going to stop the share right quick, you guys, so that I can actually show you a sample of the documents that I am looking at. I think that'll make it easier for you guys if you were able to see like sample documents. All right. All right. So let's start back that screen share. All right. So the first one I said was the My CDA portfolio. So this is what it looks like. Okay. This is what it looks like. I wanted to make sure that I show you guys. So this goes in Sheet Protector 1. This is located in your book. All right. And then I just was talking about my summary of CDA education. This goes in Sheet Protector 2. Let's see if it pulls up, you guys. There you go. And so you write your name at the top. You're going to initial right here next to each subject area because you should have completed your 120 clock hours. And then you're going to sign and date at the bottom saying that you completed that, all right? So that's page 2, Sheet Protector 2. Page 3, you need to put in proof that you have completed your 120 clock hours, all right? And so this can be in the form of a transcript or a transcript from your training organization. This can be a combination of different certificates that you have, or you can have just a master certificate. So for my students who are enrolled in my CDA program, they get 120 clock hour certificate that represents the whole program. And so whatever you have for your proof, that's what you're going to put in Sheet Protector 3 for your 120 clock hours. In Sheet Protector 4, you need to be able to prove how you meet the education component, which is you need to have a diploma or a GED. So I want you to make a copy of your diploma or your GED, or if you have ever been in college before, you can put in a copy of a college transcript. But you're going to put this in Sheet Protector 4, and this is your proof that you have completed your diploma or GED, okay? So that's Sheet Protector 4. All right, so all of that was in the required section, all right? Now it's time to get another divider out. All right, it's time to get another divider out. All right, so if you have any questions, please put your questions in the chat box. All questions will be answered at the end of class. All right, so you're going to write intro on your next divider. And this is not something that I'm expecting you guys to do while you are in class right now. I'm just walking you through it so that when you have your workbook and you are completing these documents, you know what it's supposed to look like in the flow. All right, so now on the divider, I am going to write intro on that divider. All right. And then now on Sheet Protector 5, I'm going to write on my address label, fam cover, because it's the family cover sheet. And this family cover sheet can be located in your competency standard book. All right, but I'm also going to show you what it looks like. So this is a sample. So you will write your name at the top. Your candidate ID number, you will get that from the CDA Council once you've made it that far. But if not, just leave it blank. Don't worry about it. All right, so this is the cover sheet. This is the family cover sheet. So you will have to have parents fill out a family questionnaire or survey. So you'll just answer the questions. How many you passed out? How many you got back? You're going to look over it to see what the parents said you did well. What the parents said you did well, what the parents said if there was any professional growth. For the for the question about your education. So it can also be your college degree, no matter what it is, no matter what it is. You can put a proof of your college degree in there as well. All right. So this is the family questionnaire summary sheet. Okay. And so again, this is located in the back of your competency standard book. All right. So that's page 5 or sheet protector 5. Then we have sheet protector 6 is your family questionnaire. And you can locate a copy of that in your competency standard book. So that's going to be my answer for almost all of these things. It's located inside your competency standard book. But let me show you what the family questionnaire looks like. And this is what you will pass out to your parents. So you put your name there. It just says that you are trying to get your CDA. It tells them what a CDA is and why you're completing it. And then they're going to score you from 1 to 3, 1 being great. I'm sorry, 1 being not so great, you need to work on it, 3 being great, 2 being average and okay. So your parents are going to fill this out. They can put their name on there if they like, or it can be anonymous. It's up to them. If your parents are still not coming inside your building, you have the availability to scan this document to your parents so that they can complete it. You also may put these different forms on a clipboard. This is what I like to do. I don't like any of my documents as an owner. I rarely have parents take documents home. I have them fill it out on campus, and I tell all my students as well to just put these different questionnaires on a clipboard, put it by the check-in area, put it by the mailboxes in your classroom, and have the parents just hurry. And, it doesn't take long. It takes 2 minutes to complete it. And your goal is for at least half of your students to complete, half of your students' parents to complete it. So if you have 10 students in your classroom, your goal is for at least 5 to complete it, all right? And then once they have completed all of the questionnaires, you're going to put all of them in sheet protector 6. You're going to put all of them in sheet protector 6. All right. And so this just says, you're going to pass it to the parents, ask them to complete it. 50% of your families is the goal. All right. Page 7 is the CDA reflective sheet, and this is located in your competency standard book as well. And so this is the reflective sheet. Okay, and so it's sideways, you guys, but just want to give you an idea what it looks like. So section 1, you're going to complete before your PD specialist visits you, all in column 1. Column 2, this is something that you will complete during your reflective dialogue. This is your review with your PD specialist. You will complete section 2 at that time. And then section 3, you will complete this during as well. This is writing down those things that your PD specialist says that you need to grow on. Okay, so this is the reflective dialogue, and this is the back of what it'll look like during your review. You'll write down the goals and the steps to reach those goals. All right, and so you will put that inside of sheet protector 7. And remember, the documents are located, the master copy of these documents are located in the back of your competency standard book. The yellow book is for infant toddlers, the green book is for preschoolers, the blue book is for family child care, and what was I gonna say? And you can make as many copies as you need. All right. Let's see. All right, so now we've done that. All right, so now it's time for another divider. And so you're going to write on that divider Comp 1, which is short for Competency 1. All right. And then on this page, you are going to, in your Sheet Protector 8, you're going to write on there, of course, your address label of what it is, Competency 1. And you are going to write an essay about what you do in your classroom to establish a safe and healthy learning environment. And so I have some questions for you, and these are just questions that can help you brainstorm. You'll talk about how you create a safe environment. You talk about how you create a healthy environment. You'll talk about how you create you display that learning environment, and you will create different paragraphs based on that. You also will need to discuss your menu, the menu that's offered, and talk about how you feel about that menu that's offered. You also will talk about the room design. This is your room setup. You're also looking at the weekly lesson plan. All right, the weekly lesson plan, you're answering how does it support children's developmental needs. That's going to drive me crazy. Pretend it's a question mark there. It's a typo. Pretend that's a question mark. So all of your competency statements will have guiding questions as well. Page 9, that's easy. Make a copy of your CPR and first aid. You should have it, and it needs to be current by the time she visits or he visits. By the time your specialist visits, it needs to be current. So let's say your CPR is getting ready to expire in June, but you plan for your specialist to come in August. They're looking for a copy of a CPR card that's current. So making sure that you're staying on top of that, and you're just going to slide a copy of a current one in page 9. All right. In page 10, you are going to make a copy of your menu. You are going to make a copy of your menu and slide that in sheet protector 10. No, that shouldn't be a problem if your CPR was online. As long as you have a copy of it and you're able to put on there and it shows that it's like a legit CPR card from like a national or just a recognized credible training organization, and that's all that matters. So you're going to copy that and you're going to put that in sheet protector 9. And then in sheet protector 10, you're going to put a copy of your weekly menu. So this is a copy of the menu of the food that you serve already. All right, you're going to put a copy of that in sheet protector 10. And you're going to see that I'm kind of going through this a little bit fast. It's because I'm going to show you the workbook, and the workbook has like planning pages for you. All right. Your menu, you need to make sure your menu shows a grain, protein, vegetables, fruit, and milk. So it needs to meet the quality standards of what a full balanced meal looks like. All right. You also and so now we're on to sheet protector 11. Sheet protector 11, you want to create you want to put a copy of a weekly lesson plan. So you're going to put a copy of your weekly lesson plan. Your weekly lesson plan needs to have accommodations, that's special needs. So even if you don't have special needs students in your class, you still need to plan for special needs. We also have, you need to put on there what age group are you serving? What age are the students that will be participating in this lesson? What's the description? So what are they doing for the activity? What's the name of the activity and the objective? What is it that they're learning? So this is things that are probably already on your lesson plan. I just want to make sure I throw it out there so you know to look it up, okay? And you know to make sure that it's there. And you're going to put that again in sheet protector 11. That's going to be your lesson plan. All right. So now it's time for the next divider. So then you would put another divider in there, and on the tab you would write comp 2. All right. And so page 12 is another competency statement. And this competency statement is about physical and intellectual competence. So how you are promoting their development physically and intellectually. All right, that's what you want to make sure that you place there. Give me 1 second. You want to make sure that you place there. All right, and that will be in sheet protector 12. Okay, and let's go. And of course, like I said, your workbook will have the brainstorming sheets for page 12. when it comes to, so the things that you'll be discussing, you'll talk about ways to promote physical development, ways to promote cognitive development, ways to promote creative development, all right? And then for page 13, you're going to be doing an activity called 9 Learning Experiences, all right? And that will go on sheet protector 13. Your 9 learning experiences, and I actually give you an example of this in the workbook. You are going to be creating like mini lessons where you're going over the age group, whatever the focus skill is, what material you're using, what objective, what instructions, and then the question that you're going to be answering is, how is this developmentally appropriate? All right. And I do give an example in the workbook that you can copy and well, you can print and just put right on in to your into your portfolio binder. All right. So page 13 is your 9 learning experiences. Okay. All right. Now it's time for another divider. All right. And so for this divider, okay, so you're going to write comp 3 on this divider tab. You're going to write comp 3 on this divider tab. And comp 3 is all about social and emotional development and positive guidance. All right, so your essay will go there. All right, and so you're going to talk about how you promote self-esteem in your classroom, how you promote social development in your classroom, how you promote behavior guidance in your classroom. Also, you will begin to discuss how do you support it specifically in your room, and how was when you was growing up, whether if we're talking about at home or whether you're talking about in the actual classroom, um, how do you um, support behavior, challenging behavior, and how was it for you? So when you were in home, how do your parents respond when you misbehave? Or when you were in class, how did they respond when you misbehaved? Okay. And so that's all that you will be talking about in your competency statement 3. All right, page 15, sheet protector 15 will be a bibliography. All right, so it'll be a bibliography. And so you're going to place a copy of your bibliography in 10. I'm sorry, in sheet protector 15, it's a total of 10. All right, and so you're going to be doing a mini report over 10 children's book. I give you a sample of this as well in your workbook. And so you're going to put the title of the book, the author name, the publisher name, the copyright date. Literally, you do a Google search, all right? And so if you do a Google search, you should be able to pull this information up. So I am going to, I know that the book that I have you guys, that I'm giving a sample of is Amazing Grace. So I'm going to go to, let's see, Barnes and Noble is always good when you're trying to do this. So let me see, go to the top. Amazing Grace book. Oh, why my computer acting silly today? Silly. Okay, let me see. So I want to try to get it from Barnes and Nobles because they give me good information. All right. So then I would just click Amazing Grace because I know the title of that. But if you're looking for a cultural book, then you'll type preschool cultural book. Okay. But Amazing Grace. So I'm able to look and see who is her publisher. I'm able to look the publication date. I'm able to look to see the author's name. I'm able to see the illustrator. So all the information that is going to be asked of me, I can get that from a simple like a simple Google search. All right. They also give a summary of the book. Do not copy the book word from word. You know, you do not copy word for word. You definitely can paraphrase it, but you don't want to copy it word for word. All right. And so that's page 15. All right, so now let's go to another divider. All right, see, this is, I mean, once you get the flow of it, and once you really get an opportunity to go through that workbook, you'll have it. You'll be good. So then we have dividers. So now we'll write on their comp 4. And here goes another competency statement. So you have a total of 6 competency statements. So this is a competency statement. Competency 4 is all about establishing positive and productive relationships with families. And so I give you some tips. You're going to talk about family diversity. You're going to talk about how you encourage family involvement. You're going to talk about the different resources you invite that you provide to your family. This will help you, again, create your paragraphs. Then you will go into detail, how do you promote open communication in your room? How do you ensure you're involved in the parent and child's life? You also will look at the family questionnaires and discuss how you plan to grow from the information that they shared with you. So all of this goes inside Sheet Protector 6, and this is competency statement 4. So then it starts talking about the family resource guide. So you do have quite a few family resource guides. I think you have a total of 4. So one has to do with a family counsel, has to do with finding a family counselor. So you're gonna Google a local family counselor in your area, and you are going to put that information inside of Sheet Protector 17. And I have a template for that for you. And then in address label 18, you're going to write the word language. And then you're going to put a copy. You're going to look up an agency that provides translation services for sign language and translation services for a language other than English. All right. So that will go inside page 18. Then we have page 19 is family resources still, but it's the disability. So you're going to be looking up services for the community. If they have a child that has any type of special needs, you're going to be connecting them with a total of 2 agencies that provide early intervention services, and you're going to be including their contact information, and that will be on page 19. And then you also, what type of support do they offer? Page 20, well, Sheet Protector 20 is actually broken down into sections. And so you will have different articles. You will have a total of 3 articles that you need to search. All right. So let's say, for example, I wanted to learn more about children biting. So I may type preschool. Well, no, I may put, why do children bite? Article. This may be something that I'm interested in. One of the articles has to be on behavior. So this can be one. So this one, WebMD has Stop Children from Biting, Strategies and Tips for Parents. All right. So if I wanted this article, this was one of the articles that I wanted to use for my family resource guide. I would put down the website, which is WebMD. I would look to see what type of services and information and resources does WebMD offer, and I would put that as a summary, and I would print out this whole application and I will staple it. All right. And then I would attach it. Well, I would insert it inside Sheet Protector 20. All right. And you're going to do this a total of 3 different type of articles. So you're going to do an article on nutrition. You're going to do an article on behavior guidance. You're going to do an article on cognitive development. All right. So that is going to be Sheet Protector 20 through 22. All right. And so that will finish the family resource guide. All right, so then now we're going to write on their divider. Well, not divider. Now you're going to get a different divider. When you get to this point, you're going to write comp 5 on there. So we are at competency statement 5. Right, 5 is all about effective program management. So the type of questions that you will be answering to help you guide yourself will be brainstorm ways you ensure a well-organized program. How do you ensure you're providing a high-quality early childhood experience? How can you keep open communication among staff and parents? How can you use that to increase quality? Also, you will have to have an assessment tool, which I'll show you an example of. And why is observation and assessment important? And how does that guide curriculum planning? That's something that you will have on there. All right. And so that's what will be included in your competency statement 5. We have in Sheet Protector 24, you will need to put a copy of a completed incident report. And an incident report is a form that's used when a child is hurt. I am located in Texas, so I will give you a sample of one. I will show you one that's in Texas. All right, and then I also have an incident form template available in your workbook. I got y'all. So this is an example of an incident illness report. This is what we use in the state of Texas. So you will complete it, but make sure you put, you don't put the child's name. So you may put Jane Doe or Elmo Barney, Dora the Explorer, whatever you put, but you're not going to put the child's real name, but you will need to complete everything. And you will put a copy of a completed incident report inside Sheet Protector 24. All right. All right. So let me see. Okay, let me keep going. All right. Divider, we're now at competency 6. We're now at competency 6. Competency 6 is all about professionalism. So you're going to write another essay about professionalism. You're going to talk about how you promote professionalism, how you make sure that you are trustworthy to everyone around you, what is your commitment to being a lifelong learner, so always wanting to learn more. What is the most important indicator of professionalism to you? That's something that you will review as well. Okay. And that is in Sheet Protector 27. Then we have on 28, it has to do with licensing. So you are going to look up what is your state child care licensing information. So what's their name, what's their phone number, what's their website, what's their address. You're going to get all of this information and you're going to put it inside Sheet Protector 28. And the next few slides will have to do with child care licensing. Oh, you see something's missing there, you guys. It's okay. We're going to figure it out. I'm going to show you everything. Something's missing there. All right. So I can go to, let me pull up the CDA portfolio workbook. Okay. And I'll do it that way, you guys. All right. So this is your workbook if you haven't had a chance. Okay. So it was missing some parts, so I needed to jump. So I have you guys some beautiful cover sheets that you can use to put in the front of your portfolio. I have it for family, child care, infant, toddler, for preschool. Okay, so let's see what was missing there. All right, so I showed you a copy of an incident report. Let me show you, you also need to have an emergency form in there. Yes, I figured my numbers got mixed up. It's okay. I'm going to show you a copy of an emergency form, observation form. So what I was using for that PowerPoint, this is the guide for it. So all for competency 6, which is where we stopped at. You're going to have a form where you're going to fill out for child care licensing, but you also will need to copy the director requirements. Let me see. Can I see the book that we need to buy? Sure. All right. So let me see. I'm going to try to come up close. All right. So I have the blue book because I teach all ages when I teach the CDA class. So that's why I teach out of the blue book. But yellow is for infant toddler. Green is for preschool, and blue is for family childcare. So yellow is for infant toddler, green is for preschool, and blue is for family childcare. All right, good question. What is this one? So it's whatever. So I'm teaching, the workbook is for all credentials. So whether you're getting infant toddlers, preschoolers, or family childcare, you can use this workbook, okay? You can use it for whatever the credential is that you're doing. All right, so let's see. All right, so we have, you're gonna put a copy of the director qualification. Yes, thank you. So this is the workbook that I made. Thank you for that. To make it easier for you guys to complete your portfolio. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that. All right. So this right here, I have created like what I call filler pages. And so you put the filler pages in your portfolio. So if anytime you see my page showing in your portfolio, that means you're missing something. So this right here says, open your CDA Competency Standards book and flip to the back to find the cover sheet labeled My CDA Professional Portfolio. And then I tell you what to do. Write your name, write your ID number on it, check each box, sign and date at the bottom of the cover sheet, and then you're going to staple that cover sheet to my cover sheet right here and put it in your portfolio. So all the pages that you see right here are placeholders. So it tells you what page goes where. So this is Sheet Protector 2. So you need to look in your book. You need to get your CDA education cover sheet. It tells you where to find it, what to do up here. You put it in there. Okay, let me tell you what else is cool that I have in there. All of that is self-explanatory, so I'm not gonna go through that. So this is your brainstorming sheets. So we know that when it's time for you to do your competency standards for competency statement 1, you know those questions I was talking about where you have to brainstorm, I created sheets for you. So your first paragraph is going to be how you promote a safe environment. All right, tell me 5 ways you promote a safe environment. Well, we talked about it. I'm making sure that I am supervising the children at all times. Okay, what else are you doing? I'm making sure that the materials are safe and in good repair. So all of those notes that we just talked about, let me see. So all of those notes that we just talked about, this whole thing about what they're looking for at the verification visit and what you're doing in your room, you're going to spell this out. So I have this for each one. So paragraph 1, you're answering this question. Paragraph 2, you're answering how you promote a healthy environment, okay? Paragraph 3, how you promote a learning environment. Okay, so all of this is there. And then it tells you you're going to use your brainstorming sheet to formulate professionally written paragraphs. So you should have a total of 4 paragraphs for each competency statement because I'm guiding you on what should be in each one. All right. And then I make sure I have my little notes down there and I tell you, your competency statement should be at least 1 page, but no more than 2 pages. The essay should be checked for grammar, punctuation, sentence structure, and it should be typed, not handwritten. So you're just using my sheets to guide your thinking. So you're not trying to come off the top of your head, but you need to make sure that you type your paragraphs and you print it because we are professional. All right. This is just another filler sheet. We'll tell you put a copy of your CPR first aid training. So you see it's kind of there. When it comes to the weekly child care menu, if your school doesn't provide you a quality menu that you can use, no problem. I am going to give you a quick little lesson. And so I give you an example of the different types of components that needs to be there. And if you need to brainstorm your own menu, I give you that template as well. When it comes to lesson plan, I tell you what a lesson plan should include. I give you an example of what it should include. All right. And then I give you a lesson plan template if you need it. Okay. So everything that I would think that you would need, and all my students in the past have ever needed, I decided to sit down for a very, very long time because I just love what I do and create this. All right. So I won't go through the rest of the brainstorming sheets as far as the competency statements. but I do want to show you guys. So for this, I created, so you know how you have to do 9 learning experiences? I break it down to tell you, like, if you're getting a credentialed infant toddler, then you have to create a science, language, and creative arts lesson for non-mobile infants and age group. You know, I break down based on what your credential is, what you need to do. All right. I give you the examples of what it is. And guess what, you guys? I did one for you. All right. All you gotta do is check which age group, because I picked a lesson that can go for all age groups. I did that on purpose, so that you guys can use that. So this is an example of what one learning experience looks like, and you will create 9. All right. And these are the templates for it. All right. This is a template. All right, then when it's time for, you have to do a total of 9. That's another brainstorming sheet. You guys have the gist of that. All right, so now it's time for your bibliography. All right, and so I put a copy. Look, I did it for you. This is a copy of how a bibliography should look. I have the topic there, the publisher name, the copyright date, and the summary. All right. So I put that example there. So when you guys create yours, you're not going off the top of your head. You have an example. So if you have Adobe, I highly suggest that you type into this. So the only thing, so that way you can type right into this document, your workbook that you have. And you have to have a total of 10 books. So I've already separated that for you guys. All right, so that's another brainstorming sheet. We've already talked about brainstorming sheets. So those lovely family resource guides that I was talking to you about, I create a form for it. So if you have to find a family counselor, this is the information that you need to fill out for that family counseling information. This has to do with your translation service. This is the form for it. The form for the early intervention services. You know how I talked about you have to create articles. This is the cover sheet that you use. All right, and then it'll say, complete the form below and place it inside Sheet Protector 20, it'll tell you. And then it says print off a behavior guidance article from the listed website that you have, and you're gonna attach it to this form. So I literally am giving you templates for everything that you need to be successful. This is a copy of the incident report if you don't have one that you can fill out. This is a copy of an emergency contact form if you need one to fill out. One of the things that I didn't show you, that's right, is an observation form. All right, so you need to have proof of some form of assessment that you give children. So you can go to the CDC.gov, and they have developmental milestone checklists. And so like I'm able, like if I teach 3-year-olds, I click on 3-year-olds. And when I go to this right here, it's available in English or Spanish. I'm able to pull up this form. So you're going to complete it. You're going to write the name, the age. Remember, it's a fake name, age. And you're going to fill this out. All right. Complete it. Check it. Check, 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 check. And then you're going to put it in front of Sheet Protector 26. All right. And then I wrote it right here. If you guys want that developmental milestone checklist, it's from the CDC. Okay. And so everything is here. And how I talked about getting information for childcare licensing. So literally everything that you need is inside of here. You have to do 6 competency statements. You also have to find early childhood associations. I gave you the name of one of the National Association for the Education of Young Children. You would need to look up their phone number, their website, and what type of resources they provide. And then you would need to find a state level. So if I'm in Texas, my Texas level, you're in Michigan, you're in California, you're going to look up your state level early childhood association. This has to do with the child abuse. You have to prove the child abuse form, like what you know about it. So you complete that here. And then you also have to do a professional philosophy statement when it comes to how you feel about being an educator. And so I have that here. Paragraph 1 is the same thing as before. And so, ta-da! That is your amazing workbook, you guys. It took me a very long time to create, I must admit. But I wanted it to be very detailed for you guys, and I wanted it to help you guys out because I don't want y'all to stress about making a CDA portfolio. So I'm getting ready to do a live Q&A for those who want to. Yes, so check again. It should be working now. If it's not working, send me another email, but it should be working. I needed to change a setting. And so once I change that, it should be working. So just double check. If someone can double check now while we're still on the live, that would be great because I can just fix it now if it's still showing an error. Okay, so your next steps. So you want to finish your workbook. Your workbook is not something that you turn into me necessarily. It's just something that you use to kind of guide you. In my earlier email, I did send you information if you are interested in like getting more of that one-on-one help once you have your portfolio complete or almost complete. Is letting you know, okay, great. I do offer that one-on-one support where I can edit your essays. I can walk you through the portfolio process if that's something that you're interested in. And so that is included in there. Also, what else I want to mention? You guys are welcome to email me if there's something that you don't understand with the workbook, like if there's something you need me to clarify. I will be able to do that, but it will be on a very limited basis. But you can email me if you do have any questions or concerns. Please continue to put your questions inside of the chat box if you have any. I'll kind of go back and review the ones that are already in there, even though some of them I have answered. But if you do have any questions, I would like for you to type that inside of the chat box to help guide that. And let's see. Yeah. So any questions, go ahead and drop them in there, or you can do the raise your hand feature and I will gladly welcome you on. Let me show you guys I think that's the last that I wanted to do. So if you guys would like, I would definitely like for you guys to follow me on social media. So let me make sure I put that information. My name is Lakeisha Namani. I'm an early childhood trainer, business coach, preschool owner. So you can follow me on Instagram at the Early Childhood Boss. So I do have that information now showing on the screen. If that's something that you guys are interested in, I would love to have you. All right, let's see. I see my chat box. What was the name of the first divider? All right, good question. I don't know the answer. Let me go find that for you. Don't know it off the top of my head. The name of that first divider, let's go to the top. It's going to be intro. So it's introing you. And some students write the name of the divider, some don't. Long as you put it in order based on this, it doesn't really matter. It's kind of up to you, but the name of it was intro. All right. So again, let me see. So again, the name of the book is called the CDA Competency Standards Book. You can get it from the CDA Council. It's about $25. Again, yellow is for infant toddler, green is for preschoolers, and blue is for family child care. So I have any other questions? You can type it in the chat box, or you can raise your hand. What do I click on for the workbook? All right. So in the email that I sent the email before class started, and I sent you a Google link. It's stored in a Google Drive. So you'll just click that link and it will take you straight to the workbook. Can you just download the workbook? All right. Good question. Yes, I want to make sure y'all using that workbook. I worked hard on that. I want y'all to use that so it can really help y'all. Any other questions? I know it's a lot of information. Any other questions? And again, like I said, you'll just follow. The workbook has different instructions on there available for you to read and understand what you need to do for each step.